Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And today we're talking about the Liszt Sonata in B minor. And the great advantage to this recording of the Liszt Sonata in B minor, one of the towering pinnacles of the romantic piano repertoire, is that the entire disc is on the same level of quality. And that's a rare thing. That's a very, very rare thing because the Liszt Sonata is about half an hour long. Generally, it runs between like 29 and 31 minutes. And then you've got the rest of the disc to deal with. And you may not like it, or you may not, performances may not be as good. Well, here's a disc where everything is of a piece. Really phenomenal. It's on bis. The pianist is the Brazilian virtuoso Arnaldo Cohen, who is just one of the great exponents of Liszt in the universe. He's tremendous. You remember his Naxos disc that contained the Liszt Chansons Danse Macabre and other things like that. He's just a wonderful pianist. He has virtuosity to burn, but also intelligence, shape, vision, a sense of proportion, all of these wonderful musical qualities that we really look for and which, believe it or not, benefit Liszt. I mean, because, there's this tendency to regard Liszt as just sort of shallow, but that's if you play it shallowly. I mean, if you give it seriousness, if you take his directives with intention, then marvelous things can happen. So what do we have on this disc, which is stunningly recorded in the typical Liszt fashion? Bis fashion. Bis, that's it. Well, there are 4 works here. Totaling 72 minutes of music, so it's a full disc. First, you get Funérailles. Well, we all know that that's Liszt in lugubre mode, a wonderfully dark, evocative piece, which never drags and which has just a beautiful, sonorous approach to the entire thing. And then we have the Rhapsodie espagnol, which is as opposite to Funérailles as you could possibly be. The Rhapsody is based on, it's a set of variations, essentially, based on the Jota Aragonesa, which you all know is the post-horn solo from Mahler's Third Symphony, or the Glinka Spanish Overture No. 1. Da 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 ya da 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 da. It's wonderful. Yes, the Jota Aragonesa. And so, it's the problem with a variation piece like this is that you got to hold it together. I mean, it's difficult to hold together because Liszt's variations, the Totentanz is another case in point, really tend to be very, very sectional and to occur in sort of rounded little mini shapes. And so you think that at the end of one variation, it's over, that it starts up and goes again. This performance of the Spanish Rhapsody is just marvelous. It has schwung. It really surges forward, and it's just beautifully put together so that it doesn't sound like it's stopping permanently before it really needs to. Again, Cohen's virtuosity is always placed in service of the music, so that's absolutely wonderful. Then we have the Vallée d'Obermann, which is 14 minutes long. I mean, these are big works, 11 minutes, 13 minutes, 14 minutes, and then 31 minutes for the sonata. A Vallée d'Obermann is a major piece full of variety and color, and it's wonderfully well realized here. I mean, I can't get into like the teeny tiny details, but it's beautiful performance of that, as we've heard. It really benefits from Cohen's decision to pay attention to Liszt's tempo markings and to relate everything to everything else in a coherent way, which is also true, last but certainly not least, of the sonata in B minor. I mean, there are always bits of it that people talk about, right? The opening pages, the octaves, the crazy octaves, the fuguetta, later on, and all these things. I mean, Cohen passes all of those tests beautifully. At 31 minutes, it's one of the longer, but just by a hair, you know what I mean? It's not like slow anywhere, but it's widely contrasted. And one of the beautiful things about these performances, all of them, including the sonata, is Cohen's ability to relax into a dreamier tempo, a little bit of reverie without ever bogging the music down. without ever making it sound cheap or tawdry or stopping its momentum. It has tension and release and tension and release. And so you never listen to the thing, because 31 minutes of solid chromatic style piano music, I mean, that can be tiring. It can be tiring, it can be relentless. You need to be able to characterize the various episodes, but also, as with the variations, make sure that they relate to the whole. And even though they're all thematically related, everything here is based on just those simple sort of germ cell-like themes at the beginning of the work. But still, it's an absolutely stupendous performance. And like I said, recorded in glorious sound. And if you don't know Cohen's work, you are in for a real treat, because he is a marvelous pianist. It's worth pointing out, by the way, that he recorded the B minor sonata earlier. I think it was on Carlton Classics or Collins, one of those labels. Carlton was Collins, but and that was a very good performance too. But this one is even better, certainly sonically. And there's a review of this disc on ClassicsToday.com by our own Jed Disler, who had many of the same feelings about it that I did, and some of the same observations as well. Because, my friends, they are facts, not opinions. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.